Hello, Year 10. Today's homework is about reacting masses and their calculation, so we'll dive straight in. This question, we have a student that wants to make 11 grams of copper chloride. So this is going to be what I might refer to as substance A. So this is the substance that we get information given about. So I'll look for copper chlorides in our balanced symbol equation, and here it is. I'll just highlight that's our substance A. We get given the symbol equation, obviously. We get given the relative atomic masses of each of the atoms in our equation, and we need to calculate the mass of copper carbonate. So copper carbonate is our substance B. That's what we want to find out. So if I go along here, I can identify this as substance B. That's the copper carbonate, and I can see actually straight away that this is going to be quite an easy one. So I have no coefficient in front of the copper carbonate and no coefficient in front of the copper chloride, so I know it's going to be a 1-to-1 reaction, so it makes our middle step quite straightforward. I'm going to start off by calculating the relative formula masses of both substance A, copper chloride, and substance B, copper carbonate. So copper chloride, well, we've got a copper, we've got chlorine. The mass of copper is 63.5, and the mass of chlorine is 35.5. I've only got one copper because there's no subscript next to it, so I'll times that by 1, but I have a little 2 subscript here, so I've got 2 chlorines. So 63.5 plus times 1 is 63.5, and then 35.5 times 2 is 71. So I need to add those together, so that will be 134.5. So that is my relative formula mass for copper chloride. Next we'll have a look at copper carbonate, so CuCO3. Again, we've got copper, we know that's 63.5 from the previous one. We've got a carbon, which we know is 12. It tells us up here, good, yeah. And we've got oxygen, which is 16, and again, that tells us up here. I've only got one of the coppers, I've only got one of the carbons, but I have 3 oxygens. So I've got 63.5, 12, 16 times 3 is 48. I'll use a calculator to do these. So we've got 63.5 plus 12 plus 48 gives us 123.5. So we've got the MR of both of these now. We'll have to use those in a second. It's useful to get these out of the way so you can concentrate on the tricky part of the calculation in a second. So I'm going to work out the number of moles of substance A now. So moles of A, and I'm going to use the equation. A number of moles is mass in grams over relative formula mass. So my mass in grams was 11.0, and my relative formula mass that I calculated earlier was 134.5. Go back to the calculator. 11.0 over 134.5 gives me 0.082. I'll leave this in my calculator as that, but I'm just going to do it to 2 significant figures over here. Really, I should probably have done it to 3, but we won't worry about that for now. So I now know that I've got, well, as I mentioned earlier, we've got a 1-to-1 ratio between our moles of A and our number of moles of B. So that tells me that I must have the same number of moles of B as I did A. If it were a 2-to-1 ratio, then I'd have half as many. So I'll keep that number, 0.82 moles of B. And next we need to work out the number of grams. So we're going to use the same equation as we did over here, but we're going to rearrange to make M the subject. So mass in grams is going to be equal to the number of moles multiplied by the relative formula mass. So our number of moles, which we got from the number of moles of A and our coefficient, it was 0.082, and again that's rounded, but I still have my value in my calculator. Multiply that by the relative formula mass of B, which was 123.5. So, and again, here's my unrounded version. Gives me 10.1 grams. And if we look at the precision of our answer up here, the value we have up here, that's given to 3 significant figures. So my answer here wants to be 3 significant figures. I can keep my precision in my calculator for all the other calculations, but when I get to the end, that's when I want to use the appropriate number of significant figures. Again, thank you very much. Good luck with the rest of the homework.